Ryan dropped everything to build he and wife Alexis's lakeside barndominium, where their plans for the future are already piling up. But first, we'll visit Ann and Dennis, whose good fortune is not lost on them, or the tourists taking photos of their dock. So they're staying put, determined to make the most of their million-dollar views for as long as possible. Water, deep, flowing, mysterious, ever-changing yet constant. The inspiration of artists and adventurers. It's the foundation of life. We are drawn to it, to watch it, listen to it, immerse ourselves, and for those who choose, to live beside it.
My name is Ann Doré, and I'm retired.
My name is Dennis Doré, and I keep myself pretty busy around the house.
Dennis was a real estate agent, and he was co-working this property, and he kind of decided he'd like to have it. So we bought it, rented it out for 9 years, and then we were living in Hubbard's at the time and decided we would build a retirement home in Cape Breton and move into this house while we were doing it. So we moved in here, and with the idea that we would do that fully in my mind, until I looked out the front window and saw my view, and I said I'd never leave here except in a pine box.
When we bought it, we didn't live in it right away. We rented it out, so you can see the house kind of went downhill. Finally, when we did move in here, and I do recall this, it wasn't pretty, but we did do some major renovations.
Water wasn't always a part of my life. In fact, when I was living in Hubbard's and driving through Queensland, I said, I'm never going to live on the water because it's too cold and too much fog. And here I am. When we get up in the morning and look outside and you feel like you're living in your cottage, it's great.
But I remember as a kid going down to the Bedford Basin, crossing the railway lines to get on a bunch of rocks that were down there to throw a line out to try and catch some perch or whatever fish that was around. So I mean, an opportunity here where I have my own dock and I can go out and mackerel fish, I mean, that was important to me. When you enter, you can make a right-hand turn into the dining room. And you enter into the kitchen area, which is fairly open. There's an aisle, a small island there. On your left, there'll be some stairs that will take you down into the basement area, which is our living room, basically. If you look to the right from where the stairs are, it'll take you into a bedroom. If you come back out to the entry again and you go upstairs, and it'll take you into a main bedroom area. If you go to the left, we have a sitting area there that if you get anxious at night and you can't sleep, well, it's a place you can go watch TV.
I like my kitchen. It's a little small when we get a crowd, but other than that, I know where everything is and it's an easy reach, and I love to cook, bake a little bit, but I like having people in for dinner.
When you enter the kitchen, you turn left. If you look directly to your right, you'll see a pantry.
Well, the pantry used to be a second bedroom on the main floor. You could barely get a twin-size bed in there. So I said, this is not going to be a bedroom. So I took it upon myself to build the pine cabinets, and we've been adding to it since.
The basement, the living room, that's my room. And that's because I got a nice big screen television down here, and it's a good place to hide away. And plus it has my my guitars, and as a young fellow I was in a band, but I'm certainly not a gifted guitar player, but I do like to play. I think the best view is from the dining room. I mean, it has the big window. It looks out, gives you about 180 degrees when you look out. This was a story-and-a-half building, and they raised the upstairs. They raised the roof up, and in doing that, they were able to put the gable ends in on the inside. So I think the upstairs was pretty unique.
Okay, projects that I've done myself, because Dennis didn't really want to be interested in it. Finished off the basement with pine walls and ceiling, got carpet and everything down on the floor for comfort.
I mean, some of this stuff I had to help her with, so a little bit, right? Yeah.
Some of it.
I had to hold the end of the tape for you to measure. The exterior of the house is pretty plain. I think probably the biggest special thing right now is that we repainted it, and now it stands out. One time you used to be, we'd go out on the boat and we'd come into the harbor here and we'd look for the house. It was kind of a greenish color. You couldn't see it. There was no house there, just trees. And now that we painted it red, you can actually see the house. There was a dock when we bought the house, but it wasn't really good. We actually got some professionals in to do the cribbing and expand the dock. There's something special about that dock. The amount of traffic that in the summertime that's going back and forth, and sometimes they stop in very inconvenient places and they get out and somebody wants to take a picture and the traffic is being held up. I swear that at some time I'm going to get on an Air Canada flight and I'm going to open the En route magazine and there's going to be a picture of the dock in front of our house. It's photographed that often.
My favorite thing about the exterior of the house is the gardens, mostly perennials and bushes, putting in some flowers, but not a lot of annuals. I like to see things come up on their own.
We've added the deck. We've added a number of outbuildings. We needed a garage, so we added another one up the top of the hill. And then I got a tractor, and the tractor didn't fit in the garage, so we had to build another building to put the tractor in. And then my son bought a mill, and now we need another building to put the mill in. And now that we can mill lumber, we're looking for other reasons to build some buildings. The deck is a big deal on this house for us. I mean, I often go out there, and I will go out there and I'll ask my wife to make me a coffee, and I'll sit out on the deck and put my feet up and watch the boats going in and out of the harbor.
Often say to myself and to other people, they have $1 million houses, but we have the $1 million view. The view is the thing. I love living across the water and looking out at the boats in the summertime and watching the people going by in their boats. It's just a beautiful view. There's nothing else I can say. On a rainy day like this,
Clean house.
Clean house. That is one of the things, because if you're working outside all the time, you don't get a chance.
Update our accounting records.
Yes, that's watch TV. Sometimes we decide we're going to have a game of crib. He tells me he's a professional, so
No,
what
I
do
am.
I want to lose?
I am a professional.
All I have to do is change the deck cards to a new deck. I beat him.
You know, other than that, fishing. I don't water ski, I don't swim. I snorkel, but down south I wouldn't do much snorkeling. Fishing. Mackerel, and when the boat's working, I go out after cod. I can show you some pictures. I get some cod yay big. We bring them home and we fillet them up. And my brothers, two of my brothers, they usually come out with me. I have a friend down here who's a lobster fisherman, and he takes me out with him occasionally to do some lobster fishing, and we go out after codfish. He likes to get quite a few cod and salt them, so cook them every time.
Professional. Morning routine, we get up, have breakfast, do our other getting ready to go out.
And by then the dog really needs to go for a walk. So we walk him up back, and that takes us to the 2 ponds up there that have lots of fish in them, and we have little bottles set up there, feeding stations, so we can throw some food out to them. You drive along the road and you come to this area and people are kind of looking at the water and looking back. In my head they're saying, boy, wouldn't it be nice to live here? So I turn the signal light on and I turn in. I live here.
Sometimes people ask us what's going to happen to the property once you're gone.
Yeah.
And even our son says, it's not
No,
going to
I'm
look
not
like
mowing
this.
I'm not mowing it.
And if we ever thought of moving, you know, how many people are going to buy the house because of what's back there compared to just interested in the house?
There's almost enough mowing that it's like the guy who paints the bridge, and he starts on one end, and by the time he gets to the other end, it's just go back and begin, start all over again. And as far as family go, well, 2 daughters, I don't think they would want too much to do with it at this point.
A home is the place where you can get together with your friends and family, enjoy yourself, relax, just let the life go by. We're lucky in that all our children are close to us, within reach. All of my brothers are within an hour. My mother's only an hour away, so.
Family, I guess. And maybe for that reason is why when I go down to Cape Breton, I'm anxious to go down, and I'm there 3 days, 4 days, and I'm anxious to get back home.
My name is Ryan Clerisy, and welcome to our home here on Scotch Lake, Musquoba Harbor. I originally wanted to find a property that I could build a short-term rental business, but also live on the property to offset all of our living expenses. Knew I wanted to be on a lake, and ended up finding this place in Musquoba Harbor. So we ended up hiring a builder. That builder didn't work out, so we had to fire the builder, and the only option for us was to roll up our sleeves and take it on ourselves. So we pretty much did everything from start to finish, got some help here and there. But we love it so far, and we're excited for the future. When I was selling the developer on selling us this property, I actually met with him for coffee at a coffee shop, and he was like, well, I don't want just any home on this street. Like, I developed it to be sort of high-end homes. And so I just opened up my phone, went to Google, and just typed in like barndominium, and like the first image that I liked that popped up, I was like, this is the home that we're building. And he was like, oh yeah, no, I like that, that's great. And that ended up being the home that we actually built. And I just literally Googled it in a coffee shop with the developer so that he would actually sell us the land. And so when looking for a barndominium, this was the one that attracted us, being on the lake, having a bunch of windows and doors in the front of the home to be able to have that like 270-degree view when you're standing in the front of the home was really attractive for us. Yeah, so we actually just had our Halloween and housewarming party in one a couple weeks ago. And I think the first thing people do when they come into the home is they walk into the living room and then their neck just goes like this, because our ceilings are 24 feet tall. So it's great in some ways, but also how do you get blinds up when you're 24 feet up in the room? So
that was, you know, one of the main drivers for creating a place like this, was not just for us to be able to live here and enjoy it, but to be able to share it with our family, our friends, all our loved ones. That was such a driving force for the both of us. So that's been really rewarding to finally share it with everybody that we love.
when you walk in, you come in through the entry door, and then you walk into a fairly wide hallway. You round that corner, and then straight ahead is our primary ensuite. So you have our bedroom and our bathroom. It was really important to us to have that ensuite bathroom there. And walking further, and your kitchen's to your right, and then you enter into the great room, and that's when you look straight up and you've got 18-foot walls on the side and peak at 24 feet with the vaulted ceilings and windows and doors from basically the floor up all the way to the ceiling. Really draws in that natural light.
The open concept idea was something that we both really loved, being able to have, you know, the kitchen and the living room and everything just flow.
And then the center of our living room is the fireplace, and we wanted to have the couches be on either side of the fireplace so you can kind of sit and talk to each other face to face.
If you hadn't already walked into the great room, you walk up these stairs that has this really cool railing we built with this underneath lighting. As you get to the top, you're greeted with these even more impressive, if it's possible, views of the lake because you get that elevation from the loft. And then you walk and you kind of take a left, and we've got a bathroom in the middle, and then we have spare rooms on either side, which are currently being used as our offices. We also have a little loft area with our old couch that we love too much, so we wanted to stick it somewhere so you can really sit and take in those views that we love so much. The ceiling is one of my favorite parts of the home, and it's funny because it was such a difficult thing to figure out. The thought of staining, you know, each side of each piece of shiplap, twice on one side, once on the other, all the edges. It was quite the daunting task, but it really paid off. I think too, from a design perspective, we really wanted to draw a lot of inspiration from the natural surroundings of, you know, where we are. Just being able to capture that feeling that's around the home and bring it inside the home.
So I'd say that my favorite room probably is the bathroom in our ensuite. We also really wanted to be this sort of like rustic, a lot of stone, and also more of like a sauna feel to the bathroom, so it's definitely a really unique one, and I'd say it's probably my favorite room, and just a very peaceful place and a quiet place. Capturing the view really started before we actually even broke ground in this place, because we actually wanted to position the home to where we would get the best sunsets all year round. And one of the design choices we actually made, or design changes we made, was adding another window and patio door on the right side of the home so that we could get that sunset 365 days a year. So a big focus of ours with designing the exterior of the home was to be private from all of our surroundings. So when we cleared the lot, we wanted to make sure we left enough trees around our perimeter so that we kind of felt like we always had this space that was just ours and it was private.
Once we were excavating, we discovered that there is a bit of this natural spring coming kind of out of the forest. After a heavy rainfall, it turns into this beautiful babbling brook that kind of streams all the way along the side of the house and actually goes all the way down into the lake. There's also a little pond, which there's right by the driveway.
Frog pond.
The frog pond that in the springtime just gets full of peepers, and it's quite loud, but yeah, that also was unintentional and just kind of appeared over the course of like the build. And now, again, it's something that we hope to kind of clean up and really finish and integrate it into the rest of the property. My favorite view from outside has to be down on the island. You kind of go onto the island, and when you come to a certain point, you're kind of on the most elevated part of the island, and you can look up and you're looking across the little cove, and you can look up and through the trees. It's a little bit obstructed, but I like it because it's almost like our house is nestled in the woods and the forest and the trees, and that's my favorite view from the property.
I think being down on the water offers a really cool view of the home, because the way that it is when you're on the far side of the lake is our home is the only one you can see on this side of the lake. So to look up on the elevated land and all you see is this big white home with the black roof, I think it's pretty cool. So when I'm not working on the home, I like to enjoy outside the property. So that's down by the water. We have a floating dock, so we take that out into the water and hang out with our friends out there. And just enjoying time in nature, I think, is a really cool way to spend our time when we're not working on the home. And then Alexis is often working in her office upstairs. So
Yeah, I work from home. What I like about having the office is that at the end of the day, I can shut the door and leave work, which can be kind of tricky for, work from home setups. And so I always love to come down after a day of work and come and relax on the couch and, again, enjoy the view, look out at the water, and yeah, just relax after work. We have a fire, and so it's starting to get cold enough where we will start to use it a bit more. I'm really looking forward to the winter time when we can have, some really cozy moments and turn that fire on and whatnot. But yeah, we like to enjoy watching TV together, watching shows. I'm trying to get back more into reading, but that's, a work in progress.
At the end of a workday, I often get really hungry, so I'm always excited to come home into the kitchen and be able to cook a meal for us. So when I'm normally the one doing most of the cooking, and Alexis is either helping me, either cleaning at the same time or just spending time with me while I'm cooking. And so when we make that meal, we sit down at the kitchen table and eat, watching our favorite show. After we're done eating, we often curl up on the couches and finish our show. The walk down to the lake starts at the top of the home. And you walk down to the shoreline and then along the shoreline to our little private island. Well, we feel really fortunate to be able to have that space there. So to be able to enjoy nature, walk along the shoreline down to the little private island that we have that kind of provides us with our own private area away from everybody else is really special.
So there's maybe, a few feet or so where you have to climb through the forest a little bit to really get down to the shoreline. But I enjoy that, honestly, because you're kind of, adventuring through the woods down to get to the shoreline. For me, it's always felt like almost this woodland, like magical woodland feeling with all the roots and the moss and everything.
One of the things that we're really excited to do is a lot of the exterior landscaping of the home. So to be able to build like a little sand pit with, eventually when we have children, to be able to build a playground. We're really looking forward to that. And then the outlook for the island is still uncertain, but we're really excited for it. We know we've kind of only got one chance to make it really unique and really cool. And so we don't know whether we're going to put a building there or we're going to just kind of leave it as it is and maybe clear off some of the brush. But we're really excited to be able to kind of spend more time outside of the home and to be able to enjoy the property and finish the landscaping.
And as well, we have a fire pit area that we really want to, hone that and make that a really nice, entertaining focal point for the warmer, summer afternoons. So I think there's just endless amounts of things that we want to do to make this outdoor space just as exciting as the inside. I don't think we'll ever leave. I think that we've put so much of our own blood, sweat, and tears literally into creating this house that, was such a dream for the both of us. And again, something that we never thought that we would have this early on in life. Ryan, do you think that you're ever going to want to leave this place?
Not a chance.
Home is the place that you can come and be yourself and be totally relaxed, be at ease.
I think it's a place to create memories for us. It's a place where we can invite our friends and family, and whether it's Christmas or it's a birthday party for kids, I think it's a place where we can create memories and enjoy time together.
Yeah, I think we've succeeded in making this a home. I think we're off to a great start, and I can't wait to see what's to come.
Whether nestled alongside a riverbank or perched high above a distressed ocean, living on the shore has its perks. But beautiful views are only the beginning. The sights, sounds, and sensations of the water are constant in their impact, improving moods, perspectives, and lives. To exist and grow on its edge is extraordinary, an experience made even sweeter when shared with the people we love.
Yeah, maybe you should come home. You've been saying if you're so